So this was a video that's been kicking around over the past couple of days on Weibo and all the different Chinese message boards. And it was a clip from one of the Vietnam factories of a factory worker messing with his potentially a future Transformer Generation Selects product. Now, the video itself was up to many questions if it was legitimate or not. Was it someone that was just, again, trolling, making some fancy custom and then pretending to fumble with this custom so you don't really see the robot mode properly or the transformation or anything? And then some more photos recently surfaced, and those photos started to become public and started hitting the Western message boards. So now let's talk about it. And judging by the photos now, which are a little more high res and everything, they look legit. And what we have here today is we're going to be talking about a potential Generation Selects, probably Generation Selects, Deluxe class Magnificus, aka the black repaint of Studio Series 86 Perceptor. Now, people are probably wondering, well, who's this black repaint character? Who's Magnificus? Because there's always new people coming into the fandom and learning about these obscure characters that really didn't have any kind of fiction in the Western world, so they don't really know who they are. So just to give you a quick little explanation, so back in 2005, there was a company called Ehobby, and Ehobby had this relationship with Takara where they would, take whatever was their current product and do little exclusive repaints and stuff like that of unique characters and everything. And during that time in 2005, the book box Takara Tomy reissues were very popular, and they had a whole bunch of G1 reissues. And they would take some of these G1 molds and create brand new characters like Road Hauler or Sunstorm, or they'd, homage old characters like something like our first ever Orion Pax. But this time around, they did something a little more special because it was 2005. It was the 20th anniversary of Transformers in Japan, because in Japan, Transformers made its debut, its return debut after being Diaclone and Microman. It made its return debut in 1985, so it was celebrating the 20th anniversary of Transformers. So they wanted to put out a product that kind of celebrated the two brands and everything like that. So Yoke-san, who was one of the lead designers on the Takara side, his favorite Transformers, Perceptor, and Perceptor's original color scheme and everything back in the Japanese side of things during Microman with the Micro Change line was Micro Change MC20 Microscope, aka Perceptor. So they took that original Micro Change design with the original color scheme, that black color scheme, and they paired it with a Micro Change Microman figure, which we know today as Jimedo or Jamedo, depending how you want to pronounce it. A little Micro Change human kind of figure. And they did this nice little anniversary set where it's kind of the beginnings of Transformers with the Microman origins and everything like that. Gave some history and said, oh, it's a Decepticon character named Magnificus and everything. And the rest was history. And this was an Ehobby exclusive, really cool little figure. And again, getting that little Microman figure with it too, like it was a nice little touch. They did the kind of the same thing that same year with Kicker and Convoy on Superlink, the Energon Japanese side of things. They also did a Micro Change Microman figure with a Transformer figure to kind of celebrate the anniversary of Transformers. Really cool, nice little thing. And that was that. But, much like how Transformers always is, well, the second you create some kind of repaint brother or sister of a previously existing mold, that is going to exist forever in perpetuity to be used for future ideas. So when we fast forward to 2013 and we have that Reveal the Shield Perceptor, which used that weird, Land Rover Defender kind of mold and stuff. It didn't turn into a microscope. It was just a Perceptor that turned into a vehicle. Of course, Ehobby again is like, hey, there's a Perceptor mold. Let's paint it black and call it Magnificus, and that was that. And then there was another Magnificus. So you had two of them that were Magnificuses, only released through Ehobby in the Japanese world, and that was pretty cool. Then we had, and this was recently, I believe it was last year, Super 7, the licensing company, they do their reaction line. They do these little unarticulated PVC figures of Transformer characters. And of course, they did a Perceptor toy. And no surprise, during their Black Friday event, they did some evil black repaints of different characters. And this one, the way it was branded, it wasn't branded as Magnificus, probably because at the time Hasbro had not had the trademark to Magnificus and probably didn't, give it to Super 7 as a licensing in their package. So they did a black repaint of Perceptor, and it was branded as MC20 Microscope Micro Change, giving an homage to the original Micro Change, Micro Man origins of Transformers. And they did that also with the Megatron and a few others. And so that's technically in a lot of ways maybe your first Western version of the black Perceptor concept. Now, this also kind of falls into other things too, where it's like, well, black Perceptor and how Shattered Glass is and how they sometimes retcon some of the obscure repaints in Transformers lore. Friend of the podcast, Robbie Musso, along with mega friend of the podcast, Joshua Perez, who did our logo for the Transformers Slag podcast, super talented dudes. They worked with Fun Publications, and they worked on a comic book called Reunification. And in one of the issues of Reunification in the Shattered Glass world, we see in the background a Perceptor design in a black color scheme. So the assumption is, I guess they took the Ehobby colors or the Micro Man colors and repurposed that as a Shattered Glass Perceptor. So just kind of using that all as a bit of a foundation to kind of explain all of this. Now, what do we have here today? So we have a Studio Series 86 Deluxe Class Perceptor in a black repaint kind of color scheme that is pretty much straight up. It's just a repaint, but it has a brand new head sculpt. Now, that head sculpt, of course, is an homage to the original Perceptor toy, which had the mouth plate as opposed to the mouth that the animation model had, which then was adopted into future iterations of the character after 1986. So what we have here is a brand new head sculpt, and this brand new head sculpt, because it homages the toy, it also homages the original Perceptor toy, which Magnificus was based on, which was that 1985 Perceptor toy. So you have this new head sculpt, you have some, a new color scheme, and I'm pretty confident that this is going to be Magnificus and not Shattered Glass Perceptor, even though we're in a Shattered Glass kind of environment right now in retail, primarily because the Decepticon emblem on his chest is purple, it's not red, so that kind of leans more into that. And the way I see it is, sure, why not? Why not do a Magnificus kind of throwback? That'd be pretty cool. It would be something fun. It would be something fun, get that character out there. What would be really cool, and I'm not expecting this, but would be really cool is if they released this Magnificus, and considering we already have a few G.I. Joe crossover stuff going on, release this Magnificus and include with him a O-ring G.I. Joe figure that's like Jamedo over here. And that'd be really cool. Really do a full, modern throwback to that original 2005 Magnificus Ehobby release. That'd be so cool if it included. I'm not expecting that, but a 3-inch O-ring G.I. Joe mold done to look like the original Jamedo, that'd be really cool. But I mean, if it's just the straight up deluxe for a $24.99 price point, I still think that'd be pretty cool, because when you consider that the original Magnificus now goes for crazy money. The Ehobby one that they did in 2013 isn't cheap either. And the Super 7 one doesn't really transform. This would probably be a good, cheaper, and all honesty from an engineering and display value point, probably a better choice. So I'm down for that. I think it looks really good. I'm excited. And also this kind of opens up to the fact that when you think about it, hey, now we got a toy-accurate head sculpt. We're also kind of in this world where we have toy-accurate repaints, so you could kind of change the color scheme, lean more on the teals and a different color of red, and you could do, toy-accurate Perceptor maybe in 2 to 3 years. Buzzworthy Bumblebee toy-accurate Perceptor, get use of that mold for a third time. Everyone's happy. Hasbro's happy to use a mold again and work with the tooling. And people who didn't get the Perceptor 86, maybe, recently, 2-3 years down the line, they'll have another alternative through Buzzworthy. That's one way I could see it too. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think. There's also an image that's been bouncing around since this news is broke of a full body shot of this in robot mode and everything. Don't get confused with that. That's actually a custom that's been kicking around for about, I want to say, 2 weeks now by a Japanese customizer called Dodo Mumu. So I'll post the image here on the stream. You'll see it on the screen right now. But so just keep that in mind. That's not what the actual product looks like. We only have a few scant images. Probably we'll see better images of this in the super near future now that it's leaked into the hands of factory workers. Someone's going to take a nice photo and it'll be out there. I mean, tomorrow's a Saturday night live stream. Maybe we'll get an update. We'll see. But pretty hype news otherwise. Hey, man, Magnificus for the Western market. That's some great stuff.